Oh shit, I need to remember to turn off the auto clicker that I'm using for Rise to Ruins. Now the first thing we gotta do is that I gotta go quickly onto Twitch and change the, you know, the type of game that we're playing and title and stuff. Actually, should be able to do that from Restream, since I have to do that to Facebook as well. Shouldn't be a biggie. What do we want to call it? The reddest religion. I don't know if that's even a thing you can say. Godhood. New religion. I will still do Stream Raiders, which is kind of funky because it's Godhood is a game that's a little bit similar to that. No, not similar at all. What the fuck am I talking about? But it feels like it could be a similar game in some ways, is what I was wanting to say. So oof. Those are some really high hit point units over there. Let's try killing fields, see if we can get rid of them faster that way and take less casualties as a result. Because that's not a lot of units to deal with 24 enemies. Oof. Do we even have any healers? Yeah, this might be a stretch. We'll see. Because there's still a lot of enemies and we've already lost some. I think we have healers in here. Oof. You take a lot of damage when some of these guys explode on death though, which is kind of problematic. Oof. I think we're gonna do it. Ah, we did it. Okay, good job. That was a close one though. Had 5 units left. Cooper Shell 10 get some scrolls for their flying rogues, and Disoriented TV get some gold coins. And we'll also queue up the boss fight. I'm realizing now in my stream preview that it's kind of dark in here, but it's that's just what it is when you live in a country that's overcast during like the daytime hours and afternoon. And then when you stream, it's like in between those hours, it's just, you know, you can't really like, unless you do automatic exposure, which doesn't always come out great. You're kind of just stuck with it either being a little bit too dark or too bright. And when it comes to that, I would rather have it slightly darker than too bright. And there's like 4 buffs on this map, 4 power-ups, so 1 in each corner. So I've put down some areas for you guys. But yeah, so let me see. Did it actually change the title on Twitch if I did it this way? Because I don't think I've not been switching titles on the fly with Restream that often yet, so I'm not too familiar with how it works. But I think I would and should be able to do it. Yeah, so it changes those things. I just need to change the game that we're playing. And all the other things are cool. All the tags. So, do I need to change some of these things? I know Facebook also has like a game sort of section where you can apply what game you are sort of streaming, but Okay, so I can actually manage all this from Restream. That's actually really useful. Because Restream, then it says unable to connect. Yeah, that probably fucks it up if you're trying to change the Facebook thing. Okay, I found out that you just need to turn it off and on specifically. That's okay. Cool. You know, I'm learning. So my apologies, but this is quite important for me to know this kind of stuff after all. And let's boot up Godhood. Let's duplicate Rise to Runes layout and just use that as a template for Godhood. And this might be a little bit loud because none of the settings have been like tweaked for streaming, so let me save your ears here. There we go. Yeah, sorry, Andre. And hi, good to see you. I haven't seen you in like forever. Can't you summon Sephiroth now that we're talking about it? I think this is okay. So let me see here. Gonna delete that. Add in a game captured. Talking about what? Talking about you, my friend. Because I haven't seen you in a while, and I haven't seen Sephiroth in a while. So now that we're talking about it, can't you summon him? Because I'm missing him. We want to capture a specific window. Here we go. We're about to, or I'm not about to try it out for the first time. I've played this once before, but I'm about to try stream this game for the first time. It's called Godhood. So instead of explaining to you what it is, because I did that on a previous stream, I think we might just want to get into it. And the layout's going to be a little bit all over the place until we get into the game. So my apologies. Because I remember a little bit of the UI, but it's been a little while. But for now, I'll just move the things out that are most glaring, and we'll just make a new game. So what this is a religion simulator. A little bit like ideology, but it's the entire game. So first off, let's just choose medium difficulty. I'll not skip the intro and stuff because you might never have seen this game before after all. Let's see. Still got like a bunch of other things that I'll just hide for now. And viewer account, let's hide that as well. Just wanted to say that. Say that it's like a religion simulator similar to ideology, but just that's the entire game. So yeah, okay. Yeah, so so here we are. This is our religion that we can customize. And we have a lot of options. So let's start one place. How should we address you? Yeah, I'll let that, if you guys have some good ideas for this, come with your input. So if you read this example text in the middle, it says, the admirers believe that the eternal being is the goddess that brings us the truth. That truth carries the name the Fellowship. Chads. Okay. So I'll let you have that one. So that automatically changed the example text, and now it says the Chads believe that the whatever our deity is called, and this is like our truth, like this is the eternal truth. On my first attempt at this, I called, I was, I wrote in death and destruction here. So it's like all your followers would say that you have to like, death and destruction is the only way forward and stuff like that, you know? So if we say like Doritos and Mountain Dew, right? Then that is the truth. That is like everything that we'll be aiming towards. So if you have like a good idea for this, like, you know, it could be literally anything. And then we also need a name for the godly entity that we are. So that's literally just a name, so it could be, you know, John or something. As the meme lord. Okay. Well, if no one else comes with any input, Hamp, you're allowed to come with input too. And we can change this to a god or deity, right? So it can be genderless. Ainswall Gons. Okay, something that I can pronounce, okay? Because I'll be reading that name quite frequently. It's an anime reference. Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised? We also have like visual customization options, you know? With all kinds of wacky ass things that you can do. Monkey tail, okay. Was that in Under the Wings? I think this is where it was. Aqua, the most useless god. Aqua, what? You're just literally mentioning the Latin word for water, right? I believe. But yeah, there's a lot of customization options here. But yeah, I'll give you some time to like figure out a name. One of the three main deuterogenists in the Konosuba series, right? Okay. Right, that's a reference that I have no, like, I have no idea about, so that's a little bit out there. Names are hard. I mean, my first god was literally named Dorgoth, right? It can be something completely simple. Could also be like super meme worthy, whichever you guys indeed are. But yeah, death and destruction was my thing, and what freaking was the worshippers called? I think it was just like Dragons Chosen or something. I can give you like an example of that later if we get the time, but you know, like I can show you what that religion is all about. I'll give you some more moments. I'll just figure out some kind of visuals for the deity here. We can always put a hat on later. Writing in the name. Your kneecaps will be soft, Dune. Yeah, I also have to be able to read it, like, repeatedly, so don't make it something where I'm gonna, like, immediately regret it, because you can't change this later on. Easy. I don't know. Come up with something a bit more creative. I don't know. Maybe like Doritos and Mountain Dew is also a little bit too memey. Yeah, the eyes, super expressive. Like we can make our god just look like he's in constant pain. Because of all the bullshit that this deity has to deal with. Could also just make it a god for, like a furry god. Whichever works. Keeping your like hand steady to see all the different options is a little bit difficult though. Red Rusker. Okay. I mean that definitely works. It's better than any of the other things. He's a youth comic writer. Okay, maybe that's not a good idea. Maybe that's not a good idea then. And thanks for that insight, I guess. We also have to choose like our color. This is going to be the background color here is actually going to be the color of our entire religion. I believe we can actually change this now that I recall at any point given in time. It's just might as well settle on something. Could make it like completely red so it just looks like it's got a bad sunburn at all times. Some like horrible pinkish magenta like color or something. Fucking lead. Watch a GIF comic. Oh my god, Andre, don't. I would say just go and look it up, mate. Fuck man, how red is this? I'm slightly, I think this is slightly purple. I have sometimes hard times seeing the visual difference between purples that are very close to blue, especially if I alternate, like, you know, in between them repeatedly. Momon, the dark hero. Fine. Oh my god, that color is perfect. Momon. I mean, we can go with Momon if that... Because I don't think... Can you do quotation marks? No. You can actually write the whole thing. He gets it now. And, you know, freaking Chads are only awake at night, I guess. But yeah, the question you should be asking yourself, what... Oh, this is even better, actually. Like just a fucking... I don't know if we can get a better head than this. I think this one's pretty good just because of the huge gaping mouth on this one. And those eyes don't work. Burp. I guess they work with a lot of things. They did a pretty good job with the character, the deity creator here. Yeah, I think this head is going to be the best. Taco Tuesdays. We could do that. Looks like it's an Aztec god of pain and intimacy. Oh, if you only knew. Taco Tuesdays. So, the Chads believe that Momon the Dark Hero is the god that brings us the truth. The truth carries the name Taco Tuesdays. It is the only way. It is the way. But yeah, we've got a few other body options, but I think that, you know, yeah, they're basically the same as one. I think the one with the tattoos is a bit cooler. Just slightly, you know, they were slightly obese. Seems like, because this is like the icon, right? Of our deity, so this is pretty important. And these were like the hat. Oh yeah, I forgot we have more hat options. I never got to look at those. And what were the... Okay, they were part of the head, those back part thingies. Most of these are going to be incompatible with the eyes, though. Oh, we can give him a fucking mohawk, how about that? Yeah. Let's give him a halo. I'm really leaning towards the mohawk. What do you guys say? What will our color be? Yeah, I've chosen like this absolutely delicious pink color for now. There's a few other options, of course, but I mean, who doesn't like a good pink? Mohawk. I don't know. Do you guys have any objections to this? This is squiggly arms thing. We can change that as well, by the way. But I think the squiggly arms is like pretty on point with what we're going for. Four arms. I don't think I can do that. Is there one with 4 arms? There's only one with 6 arms. Nope. Yeah, I would also say keep the arms there. They're pretty on point. Sad. So, are we ready? There's the when are you... Oh, I said that already. That's squiggly. Okay, let it be known then, right? Let it be known. Yes. For as long as there have been people to believe, there have been gods to vie for their attention. Moman the Dark Hero is one such gods, destined to claim a place in humanity's hearts and minds. A single soul would be chosen by Moman the Dark Hero, destined to become the first prophet of Taco Tuesdays. I am Moman the Dark Hero. From nothing, Moman the Dark Hero appeared before Nekka. Nekka renounced their faith in the old god Quetzalcoatl and placed it in Moman the Dark Hero instead. First, Moman the Dark Hero taught Nekka about what is right. In my name you will spread. And then we have to choose our play style. And this is set for the rest of the game. More. Now before you say that, my other playthrough is also a war related one. And it's considered recommended for beginning players. Pleasure. Yeah, so the thing about them is that given your type of, like, main type for your religion, it gives you a specialized unit. So for war, that's an executioner. And without, like, going into detail, I mean, Madness looks interesting too. Make him Cthulhu-esque. Madness. Yeah, I really wanted to try Pleasure, or like obviously one of the others, but I was mostly looking at Pleasure, but we can see this one too. It says it's very offensive for advanced players. Morale and well-rounded. Very defensive. Pleasure. Madness, pleasure. Okay. What do you say, Andre? I think you get to choose the tiebreaker, madness or pleasure? Madness. Okay, then we go for madness. That is going to be our virtue. I mean, if this becomes something that we do more than once, we can always make a new religion and go pleasure at some point. Because they are very different ways of sort of playing the game. Because it leads into a lot of other things. So, madness. The elders who worship the ancestors thought this idea to be dangerous. This is madness. They could not see how they were wrong in opposing Moment the Dark Hero. A sacrament was called to determine who is right. Prepare for the sacrament. So now Nekka here is gonna like try and convince everyone else that this new religion is the shit. Which gives you a little bit of a preview of what the game is about. So, we got defeated. Nekka got defeated. Because she lost. I think it's he actually lost the sacrament against the elders. Sad face. The elders were resolute in their judgment. Nekka and a few followers were banished from the old city. Before leaving, Nekka prophesied that one day Moment the Dark Hero would bring the liberation of madness to the old city. One day we will return. Madness. So, Nekka continued to travel for days with the exiled. The people were growing tired and hopeless. Finally, on a fertile and lush terrace, Moment the Dark Hero spoke again. This shall be Moment the Dark Hero's holy site. A new religion is founded. So, and I'm just gonna breeze through these tutorials as quickly. So, our goal is to ascend to the rightful throne and leave behind a religion that will stand the test of time. And we will face against many other religions which have false gods, where we need to convert believers of those religions by various means. And when we have bested enough religions, we will be able to ascend into eternity as the deity Moment the Dark Hero. So, I will ascend and Taco Tuesdays will be paramount. Return to a Tuesday of tacos and madness. Oh yes. So, in order to ascend, and this is the brief overview of how you play the game. You raise a strong group of disciples that represent your religion so that they may convert heathens in these sacraments that we just witnessed. And with more followers, we can then create a lasting religion and best the others. So there are different ways to achieve these goals depending on the tenets that we choose to be part of a religion, which we'll, get to do. So, raise disciples, convert in sacrament, create a religion. Pretty straightforward. There are many moving parts, don't expect to understand all of it. Yes. So, the first thing is we gotta do is like set up a ritual for a prophet Nekka here, who was randomly generated, by the way. The name and visuals of these disciples that we get are all randomized, which is another cool part about the game. So we gotta choose a ritual, and a ritual is how they train their stats. This is a very stats heavy game in some sense, but it doesn't, like, you get eased into it, so it's not such a big deal. So it's a turn-based game too, and they will make gradual progress through finishing these rituals, and whenever they finish them, they'll develop their stats. All these stats represent their prowess during these sacraments that we just witnessed, and affects how we convert followers, basically. So they're just their capabilities. They have different ranks, just as you would assume in any other RPG. Nothing too major about that. So now the main thing is, I'm not entirely sure on which stat is the main thing for this play style here. So if we look at Nekka, they're a cultist. Okay, so that's like our religion-specific class that we start out with. And they're of the dark damage type, which we'll get into at some point. Where can you see that again? Can't quite remember. So NECA here has some primary stats and stuff, but it's not what I need to figure out. I need to figure out what their main stat is. Stats maybe. Stats shows how high their current stats are all at. An overview tells you what level or power level they're at, amongst other things. Shoot. Can we see it? No, that was relics. But yeah, I believe it's probably going to be occult since that's the top one, which would mean knowledge is our main stat. Yeah. For this character in particular, it varies a bit between characters, but given your religion, it tends to be like a certain stat that you prioritize in. Anyways, so this is, as I said, a round-based game. So after everyone, like, before moving on to the next round, you get these blessings that you can carry out, where we can either gain a dream point, which we can get into later, or just make like a boost towards progressing this this ritual, which is just what we're gonna do this time. That was the first round, basically. Tutorial: spreading Taco Tuesdays, which is our religion. So, to convert others, we need to send our disciples out to do missions. Yep, and they each consist of these sacraments. So, yeah. We'll just have to prepare beforehand. And I'll not explain everything in detail. You'll probably be able to pick up on it fairly quickly if you follow along, so. But words of mine are: your new religion spread quickly. Bia and young Tiso have heard of your great name. They too want to spread the world of Taco Tuesdays. I will inspire their rituals and bless their actions. So we gotta choose the destined mission, which opens up this world map, which we only have one option, which is this one, and this is what we'll be up against in the next sacrament, right? So it's like an auto battler of some sort. Speaking of auto battler, where we get faced up against a team of 3 different disciples that have their own classes and stats and everything, and we sort of have to min-max our stats in order to overcome those challenges, and if possible, try and counter whatever it is the game throws at us. So, but let's take a quick break from this and check out Stream Raiders now. Okay, so we're all like just huddled up in the corner here. Well, this is the boss battle, I guess, so I should probably have thought about that before I put down the markers. I don't know if this is going to be useful. I hope it will. But I'll start this fight. And I need something to drink, so I will be right back. And hopefully this does not good. Yeah, I think this one thing's going to go down here and get buffed, maybe. Yeah, that seems to be the case. So that's why we needed people in all the corners, because this one's just going to suck up all the fucking buffs. And we're just going to get screwed. Did we win yet? Oh, F. Didn't see that coming. Shit. Well, we'll try again. This time it'll be easier, but do consider the fact that if we don't take out those buffs, we're probably gonna get fucked. Sorry if that was a little bit loud. I don't know if you could hear that. But yeah, there's less enemies, the boss is level 1. I actually wonder sometimes if that affects the quality of the loot that you get. So yeah, let's try this again. I mean, preferably it would be some kind of rogue assassin thing that you send out to those. Oh yeah, well, let's go back to the game. Something I didn't quite consider is, because I didn't have a planned out layout, chat box is kind of just hidden at the moment. So just give me a moment while I try and figure out where the fuck to put all this stuff. Shoot. Because there's gonna be a lot of UI on screen at any point in time, but because this is a very UI heavy game, hopefully I can figure out something that works. Having the streamers thing there should be fine. Yeah, I can mess with the other things at another point in time when I have more peace and quiet to improve on the quality on this. Anyways, sacraments, that's where we came from. So that's kind of what you do. We said this is our destined mission, and that's, if you look at the bottom right here, I hope you can see this. That's a problem. I need to move myself around, I see. Yeah, because I have to be above this text. We'll see if this goes completely weird. But yeah, since there's like some UI in the bottom here. So right underneath me, you can see a bar and there's like 3 blocks to it, and that's the turn meter, if you will. So whenever you are in the 3rd turn, if you will, the next sacrament begins. So until that does, we can basically just train our disciples here. Now, because I've played before, kind of know what we want to do. Well, her talent is charisma, which means that she gets a bonus towards charisma stats based off of her totem, the gust. For reference, Nekka had the aberrant, providing might, devotion, and knowledge, which is pretty good because might improves your damage, but we'll get into those details later on because I don't know how this religion is played yet. And then these character gets knowledge as well. Okay, so kind of just want to focus on what they get bonuses in towards then. And we can bless Nekka again with a ritual, but let's do a dream point actually. Nekka did not come empty-handed to the Holy Land. Oh, it is a she. Hard to tell in this game, by the way. With her, she brought a magnificent relic that holds the true power of Moment the Dark Hero. What would this relic be? I will pick my major relic. So this is a starting bonus item that you get. So this is something you equip onto your disciples that gives them massive bonuses in some cases. And these are global bonuses, okay. So these actually are not equipped onto the person in particular. That's really cool. Wait, no. I think it does the same for war. I'm just misremembering. So we can either add a 50% might to disciples' crit chances. Wait, what? Oh, okay, so 50% of our might gets added to their crit chances, improving their crit chance, I suppose. Or Knowledge abilities makes enemies mad for 2 rounds, increasing their chance to intercept badly and 1 clouded thought. Huh. Oh, okay, so this unlocks classes as well. I've tried the Chieftain and Beast Walker classes and are kind of focused on combat. Yeah, I would say the Secret Pyramid as well sounds more interesting. I don't know the Druid or the Weaver class either, but it sounds cool as heck. Nom. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Had a bit of chocolate on the side. So, Secret Pyramid. Well, this is one of those instances now which I can show that the blessings are kind of like handed out randomly, but we get to choose only one, so we have to choose whether or not we want to improve Tiso or Bia. Now, Tiso is a young one, which is going to be a bit more important later on to consider. We're going to go improving Bia's ritual though, simply because we need someone to be fit for fight. But we're just about ready to get started on this first mission here. And we'll need all our people actually, now that I think about it. But yeah, so this is where we can spend our dream points in this case. I wonder if this is related to when we had to choose like 4 different things, like night, morning, noon, afternoon, or whatever the fuck those 4 options were. So I think that's why you get dream points. I'm not entirely sure. But it could be that that sort of decides what it is. But I assume the mechanic is the same nonetheless. So basically, these dream points, which are these up here, these pinkish flower-like looking icons, can be distributed right before a sacrament into different stats. Alright, Andre. Have fun cooking your meat. Sounds weird. Anyways, so we don't have many options because we're, you know, just starting, but we'll be choosing physical armor, I think, because these are just mainly focusing on physical damage anyway, because they're untrained disciples. But this basically gives this particular disciple 10 physical armor, so these are temporary buffs that go away after the sacrament is heard. Don't need to learn about elements, that's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a, what is it, 6 different elements where one beats the next, and anything that they're not, don't have an upper hand against, they are either neutral in terms of effectiveness against, or if something has an upper hand against them, you know, you get sort of bonked in the head for that. So, and we don't have any direct control over our sacraments either. And what about the element of surprise? Well, that's I don't know. We can't really control that. The fights are auto battles, so we can't really control them at all. But spread my name, I think. So here we have our disciples that we can choose from. We only have 3 different ones, so I think we'll put our main one up against this godless one because their morale armor is slightly higher. Since they're not trained disciples, they don't have a class, so they don't have any element either. But yeah, so this is basically what you do. You set up the auto battler and then you just start the mission, and then we see the fight happen. And I think actually my VCam might need to be moved. Yeah, I don't know where the fuck to put my cam. But yeah, the fight basically happens automatically, and in the top of the screen we can see like yeah, the progress between how many like followers we gain compared to the enemy team. So the idea is that you do a combination of sort of converting the crowd as well as taking out the enemy team, so to speak. Oh, and B unlocked the class. We can do that on the main map when we get back though. So I'm just doing some cheeky stuff here where I'm just flipping my fucking cam because I really need it to be on the left hand side. And it looks so dumb when if I weren't to flip it, because then I'd just be looking off into like the corner of the screen. But first things first, I need to move the freaking chat somewhere else. Because that was a bit in the way. I'll try putting it up here, see what happens. There's gotta be UI all over the screen, so it doesn't really necessarily work too well, but we'll see. Hopefully the transparency that I have is gonna be fine. But yeah, the first thing we want to do is choose another path or another mission to go on. So we have two options this time around. The ultimate goal is to go up here into the ultimate city and convert, you know, the major, like the remaining religion believers of the old gods or whatever to our religion, which is, you know, on the path to Taco Tuesdays. So in order to get there though, we need to complete some sacraments leading up to that. And as you can see, there's a time limit on these things. So within 14 total rounds, we have to beat this one. Otherwise, we just straight up lose the game. There are additional side missions that you can do that tend to give you like extra rewards. Like this one, it says tribute from sacrament, and then there's like 5 chests, which is a pretty good boost compared to these 2. But we probably want to just do this one because we have 8 turns, I think it was, to do the other one. And we've got 2 different things we can do. First off, let's get a new disciple. So whenever you get the option to get a new disciple, you get multiples to choose from. Similar to how you would in RimWorld and in similar games. So we get Tapa, well, we get either of these. Let's just continue because it's easier to see them here. So Tapa the Stone gets bonuses into health stat progression, meaning those stats are going to improve faster than any of the other stats. And that's like the baseline, or you choose these characters based off those stats because that's the baseline for the class that you can sort of assign to them. So you can see here, it even shows you their favorite class to try and help you a little bit. That the favored one is not really any, because health doesn't improve their combat or whatever capabilities within any of these, since it's not a main stat for any of these. So knowledge is important for the weaver, is also important for the druid, and it's also, I assume, important for the cultist, though it doesn't say. It might be that the cultist is so special that they don't have any main stat, actually. I wonder if that's the case. But if we jump over to Isma here, you can see that Weaver would fit averagely onto this, and the other 2 stats would, you know, Charisma wouldn't help Druid or Cultist. It would be a weak match, but it's something. So let's go for Isma instead, even though they were slightly lower power level. And since you are focusing on Charisma as your main thing to learn, let's improve that then. And we also have Bia here, whom we can choose a class for now. Yeah, so whenever they get enough XP, they can choose a class. Yeah, and then, you know, you want to create a team composition that works well together. Makes sense. So nothing too major here. So here it again shows you the favorite class is the Weaver, but we can also do Druids if we so choose. But yeah, here the stars show you what the main stat is. So maybe that's where you see it on the other menu, and I just forgot about it. Yeah, for cultists, the main stats are knowledge and might. Equally important, it seems. I believe if one stat is more important than the others, it has more stars. Can that be true? I can't remember. We can unlock more classes though. We can now actually already unlock one right now as it happens. But the ones in the right here are hard fits, meaning that we can choose them, but they don't really synergize well with the other ones on the left hand side here. The Beast Walker is very cool. I'm familiar with that one. Songsmith, I don't. I think they're a healer. Yeah, but they have like some weird abilities. What about Harbinger? Lowers the defy of opponents and unleashes a barrage of dark abilities on them, a good companion for morale up classes. So they basically don't target, like they don't do physical damage, they affect like the enemy's hit points by attacking their morale directly, which is a bit of a different way of doing damage, I suppose. Compared to like Beast Walker, for instance, just straight up does damage. But the thing is here that Harbinger, though they look cool, is the same element as Weaver, so in favor of getting more utility, I kinda want someone that's not darkness, because cultist, our special class, is also of the dark element. Oh, and we start with Druid, which is actually a hard fit, which is kind of weird. But they're nature element. So I'll probably choose Songsmith just because they're like opposing to darkness. And a healer, so they get less morale armor but increased evasion, whatever. And then once you choose the first one, the price of the other ones increases. But you're gonna unlock all the classes, so there's no need to worry, we'll get to that eventually. But now we can see that we can actually make this be a character here, a Songsmith instead, which I think we should probably do. So their main stats are going to be Charisma and Cunning. And since they get a bonus to Charisma, which is... what does it say again? Yeah, increases the power from morale-based attacks and accuracy. And Cunning just increases your like evasion, crit chance. Whereas health improves your physical armor and, you know, hit points. And might increases your physical attack damage. Devotion is resistance against morale-based attacks, and knowledge is something to do with crit chance and defy chance on morale-based attacks. So it's basically the same stats left to right, but the bottom row is for morale-based things, the top one is for physical damage. So it's a bit of an interesting mix, so to speak. It's like magic and physical damage, essentially. But yeah, let's choose this. So we have two types of materials in the game. Well, we've got materials and we've got offerings. And yeah, that's fine. So materials are used to construct buildings, which provide you with permanent bonuses that carry with you throughout the entirety of the game. Some of them, like the material gather here, will provide us with passive material gain, which is something I probably want us to get as soon as possible. Each of the temples here, they buff the amount of stat gain you gain per turn, like by developing their skills. And the madness things down here are temples specifically related to might, knowledge, and knowledge specifically. So, and Holy Center is like a general thing, just to give you an idea what that is for. In contrast, offerings are used for activated abilities. Like right now we just have this ritual progress, which we can't even afford. So, but what those do is like this one speeds up the current ritual progress on these disciples and young ones or whatever by a 4 times multiplier, and that can be upgraded, which can be pretty strong. So anyways, we're about to let a disciple perform a miracle. When we do this in the future, that stat that we upgrade through this miracle will raise faster, essentially. Gather 1,000 chats to unlock. We also have chats. That's a followers. That's actually that's like a stat, but I don't think it really does much. It's just a score, so kinda. Anyways, so yeah, they'll also learn a new ability, become generally stronger, and sometimes learn a passive too. And then the miracles that we've already been introduced to are the other way to make them grow. So it's all about growing the strength of your disciples and make them carry out these fights. Now, Bia here, being a songsmith. Oh yeah, we can see the stars in here. Okay. So charisma is extra important and cunning is extra important, right? So charisma is her main way of healing, I assume, if we look into her abilities. Let's see here. Yeah, because this is a morale-based attack, simple song. AoE morale ability, converts followers but deal less HP damage, so we don't really take out the enemy, but we sort of convert followers instead, which can also win the sacraments, as you will see. But to begin with, each class has this sort of loadout of abilities, like these 5 abilities. But then whenever they get these ability points, we can spend those to swap out their selection of skills. So as you can recall, in the sacraments, the fights happen automatically. What it means is that the disciple will automatically choose at random one of these 5 assigned abilities whenever it's their turn. So if we want Bia here to heal occasionally, we probably want to assign her this loud hymn AoE morale ability that heals your disciples. So now there's a 1 out of 5, chance of her triggering this loud hymn. And they can also be upgraded, but that's like far beyond our capabilities at the moment, so screw that. Don't need to worry about it. And then we want to upgrade her charisma, or her charisma gain ability. That does mean, however, she won't be available for the next sacrament, so that's something we got to keep in mind. And since we're not passively generating dream points, I don't know if that's something we have to worry about or not, because what were we up against? Okay, so we were up against 2 classless and then 1 disciple that's a druid, which I believe is mostly just support, so we should be fine. But yeah, at the moment I think I want to focus down on Nekha, because Nekha is like our strongest character for the time being, so whenever we can, I want to rank up Nekha's capabilities. And actually looking at Nekha, yeah, so might and knowledge is their main stat, so we need to, yeah, so occult increases knowledge. If we want to improve their might, they need to do the punish ritual. And all the stats increase in various amounts depending on like how you built your religion, so to speak. Anyway, gotta prepare for the next mission. Can't put Bia onto this, but because Nekha is of the darkness element, they get superiority against nature, and you can see in this wheel that, oh, it's 5. So it's very simple. It's not like any weird ass cross like, oh, this one is like better than this other one, but then there's this third thing in between. No, it's just one over the other. Like Pokemon, I guess. Except Pokemon's gotten kind of complex, where Pokemon have like more than one like element or whatever. But yeah, so we gain these followers up here, and you can also see it visually as they convert into the pink dresses and stuff. And I kind of like how their animations are all like fear, like they're actually being feared, most of these guys. Compare that to the green ones, they're like, yeah, you can do it. Which is the same animation for war, by the way, like very like, oh, fuck them up. Except our followers are just being like fucking scared to death because of the madness thing and going insane. But yeah, so there's two ways to win these sacraments. Either you get more followers than this midline, first to 48 followers, and there's always gonna be free turns. Always free turns, no more, no less. The only way you can make it, well, there can always be less. If you either take out the enemy in turn like sooner, or you get, you know, beyond the threshold in between turns. So we get a bit of an overview of how much they progressed, and then we'll be back. So we converted 62 followers, we got 2 tribute chests, and you know, and from those chests we then gain the offerings and materials. We also get this triangle, this special reward. And then we can see how far up we are in terms of followers, in terms of ultimate religion. And because this was a special mission, we got this max martyrdom increased by 1. We'll get to that eventually. Here we have a miracle happen. That's the one that we queued up for Bia. So it says, Bia blessed the lands in Moment the Dark's hero's name. When the harvest came, the yields were ripe and delicious, a true godsend. Believe and I will provide. Number of chats is growing, yes. So, this adds the farm miracle to Bia's story, basically. Which essentially just means that she gets more charisma development power and more general development power and all the other stats. So, I believe it also increases their might and other stats in various amounts. And she gets a new ability called Performance. And this one just gets automatically swapped out with one of the default abilities, which are by, you know, objectively worse than the ones you can learn. Just blessed be Bia. Okay, so first thing first. Next one, so whenever you do these, crew of these sacraments, you can also see up here in the top, it says, only a few of your disciples are more developed than they are, meaning that it's going to be a pretty equal fight. So we might want to use a dream point just to get the upper hand if needed be, but we should be able to do well. If we beat this one, we get a relic and a permanent HP upgrade. Like, this upgrade affects all our disciples forever for the rest of the game, so pretty strong stuff. And some of the side missions will have those kinds of rewards that give you permanent upgrades too, but be time limited, so you have to do it within a certain time. But you know, it pays off with a permanent buff that stays for you the rest of the game, so you definitely want to get those. So we've gotten far enough, and now we can choose our tenets and traditions. Tenets are the things your followers believe in. Tenets all have effects on your culture. They also unlock traditions. If we've adopted enough tenets, we can pick up one of the unlocked traditions. Traditions are big game changers that often grant new powers and are a vital part of our strategy. I will pick my tenet now. And because of the madness starting religion thing, we, I believe, start out with this madness tradition. We know the terrible truth, moment the dark hero will come. And that's, you know, our holy relic and stuff. That's the action that we gain out of that tradition. But we gotta choose a new one. So there's like 3 different categories here, where we've got adoration, social, and philosophy. And within each of these, there are different tenets that we can choose. So like, for instance, we can say that Well, one of our tenets is that we mutilate heretics. Or we worship cats. And they inspire different traditions which currently are going to be unknown to us. Apart from some of them because of a previous playthrough I have. So, from Reclusion I know that it can unlock Monastery of Miracles and Hermit Pilgrimage. Evil God sounds fun. I was thinking the same. Mind you, we have to be very selective here, but I think that might be the most one. And I did notice Stream Raiders is ready, but let me just see through these. Secret Society. Blood Offering. But yeah, we'll actually, let's do Stream Raiders and we'll get back to this because there's a few more things I want to cover on that one. I do hope we can beat this surge. Okay, we've got a bit more people on this one. Holy shit, 23 units. Okay. I'll put a haste on us down here because we have some large units here. And hopefully this is going to be good. It was interesting after we failed the first... Well, we got a healer over here. It doesn't really help us. Should have been a rogue. But yeah, we took out the boss already. Then again, the boss was heavily nerfed, so easy victory. And who gets the lucky reward? Moohoo, you get the 50 coins. See you in here. And we're on to the next map. Almost looks like a Primordia map, but it's not entirely. Which way do we want to go? I think this one. Since they both reward a bronze chest, we're just gonna take the easier one. I mean, why wouldn't you? Since the enemy is gonna be revealed over time, doesn't really matter. I'll just put down a musketeer. It will give you some vibes. No one's ever actually confirmed for me whether or not that actually matters in terms of the quest progression if you have like a specific quest to put down a special unit. How about philosophy? Is this under philosophy? But yeah, so what I wanted to mention is that, as you can see here, if we pick something from adoration, we get 10 faith gain, which is basically mood buff in this game. It's basically the exact same mechanic that we're used to from all the other games. It's like a mood buff but for our disciples, so they gain, like, the more faith they have, the less chance they go on like random sprees and stuff. And it's going to be more and more required as we go on, so we can do without that. If we do philosophy, we gain 25 offerings and materials per mission, so getting those, one of those early is gonna, like, this is gonna stick with us for the rest of the game, so, you know, pretty significant. I kind of want to try Evil God because it sounds interesting. And you can make the most fucked up things, like, yeah, we'll just see. So we're gonna be an Evil God. Let's do that one. That sounds fun. Good is for wussies. Our God is cool and evil. What the heck? Oh, that's funny. Good is for wussies. Fuckers. Our God is cool and evil. Tisu prophesies the merits of Evil God to the Chads. Hear to me, fellow Chads. Today, our God, Moman the Dark Hero, showed to me in a vision that we must respect his evil ways and become one. Neat. Okay, so off to a great start. Now, Tiso has reached a high enough level that we can choose a class. Do we want to choose Druid? It was a hard fit for the strategy. A bit unsure why we start with it if it's supposed to be a fucking hard fit. Like, is that just to fuck with us and make it more challenging? We can technically already unlock another one using some of the resources we gained. which might be preferable. I would want to unlock Beast Walker. They're basically a rogue, as should be apparent from the fact that their important stats are cunning and might, which is basically agility and strength. Some reason they're a hot fit though. I mean, we don't have a Weaver, so it's just a different element, but Dark Morale ability that dazes the mind of the opponent for the whole sacrament. It's actually a good question. Why is Beast Walker a good fit when they do physical damage? It's the only class we have right now. Maybe that was a bad choice. I would say let's build something. We can make do. Some things become very expensive very quickly, so focusing on one thing is not necessarily the best strategy. But what does wisdom and stuff do? Raises users morale armor. Okay, raises armor and intercept morale based attacks. So model of growth is a nature based morale ability. So I assume that's an oh wait, no, it says here. Is this an attack? Convert by grace. And witness the beauty of nature. So some of these is literally like if you're on the peaceful train, your strategy can be for some of your classes to literally come up with an argument for like a discussion against the enemy, and then the way that the opposing team defends themselves in that sacrament is by coming up with a counter argument. So like, oh yeah, that's a good idea or good point and stuff. Fucking weird. Okay, druids are like a mix, so they do like physical abilities that leave the target hampered and unable to use some morale abilities. That's actually kind of cool. It's like a control support thing. Let's try druid anyway. I know I kind of got the beast walker thing, but eh. Then we have to choose a miracle. And the main stat was knowledge and devotion, which I think knowledge was probably the main one. Yeah. So let's do knowledge miracle. Debate fights. Yeah, except the people on the opposing team are about to bash your skulls in with like a giant cleaver. Like that's kind of how weird the game becomes, but you know, it is what it is. So should we maybe get this thing or wisdom? Because raise morale armor and intercept morale, and you do gain. See, this is a really cool part about the game. Even if you have like a purely defensive class, like a tank or a healer, you still can make progress because you still gain disciples based off those abilities, you know, because they're not even not attacking, like supporting your team can produce followers. We need cultist. We have a cultist. That's Neck has started out as a cultist. You have an axe in your head. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, we can't really do much right now. I think we just want to get a dream point, just for contingency. Oh, and we can use some of our offerings here for some ritual progress. So we can boost the ritual progress for Bia so she can catch up to Neka a little bit. Now this number on the left here, don't get that confused with their level. It's not their level, it's their power level. So it's like a rough estimate of how strong they are. They do have levels as well, but you know, that depends on a couple things. I believe these can come to acquire level 3 at max or something like that. So it's a bit weird to get used to, but that's how it is. Yeah, so in this case, like, I probably don't want to bless a ritual for Bia because that's just going to waste some of the turn because he'll be doing nothing. So if we bless Neka in this case, yeah, and then they ranked up in that stat without us interfering, and then now we can like, you know, assign the next one. I have to get a little bit used to these classes. Might be a good idea to get some cunning up. As you can see, like, we can't even level up health or devotion because we have no ritual that affects those stats. So basically any class that runs on health or devotion are going to be really hard to run because, or borderline impossible, because until further in the game we can't actually even improve their stats. You'll also notice how these numbers vary greatly. Like we only get 2 points into cunning and 4 into charisma because of primary, secondary, tertiary, and stats and so forth. And there's various reasons why that is, like, you know, the rituals that they've not rituals, the miracles they've carried out affected after all. So now the reason why these are split into prime disciples and young ones is because they actually age. So 2 years between a mission and the next, which means if they turn 60, they start slowly losing stats, and they usually die around age 75, which means that eventually we'll have to swap out our prime disciples once they become elders, which is also the main way that you get new blood into the pool. But you know, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyway, so we gotta choose something for this fight, and we probably want to buff Isma here with some physical armor because they're level really low in power. A lot of stuff has the opposite of that. Trying to think about what you're referring to due to the stream delay. But yeah, for instance, Bia here gets like, would get mauled by this ancestral dude, so we should probably set it up like this. We can also increase the martyrdom, which basically means that we'll start with less HP and they will start with followers converted, but we'll get an additional reward if we win. I'll wait with that a little bit because we're so early in the game that it's not really gonna impact anything. Then yeah, that the older you are, the stronger. Except when you become an elder, your stats start declining heavily. You get like a 20% debuff to all your stats. So yeah. And there's more to it. Okay, we would probably have done the fucking thing. The fights here seem really easy. But then again, we also did just start the game. You'll notice that sometimes, you know, people on one team will like intercept attacks and stuff. Borga. We've already won this like by a landslide, just by getting followers due to the religion type that we have. So we're doing pretty good. But actually, when you're, yeah, let's just do status. This is all the rewards, and we get that permanent HP upgrade and a relic choice, which is randomly generated. So we can get a holy banana, Isma's sunleaf, or Bia's mellow flower. Okay. Direct opponent cannot crit or critical or argument. So no critical hits can hit you ever. 10 physical armor is not really much. Fervor is kind of useless. 10 evasion. I would definitely go for the mellow flower. Well done, you made it through the basics. As you can see, there's much to master. And here are the final tips. This is just a reiteration of what they told us earlier. Strong synergy, efficient rituals, fitting traditions, like everything, you know, synergy. Off to guide some mortals. Easy mode. But yeah, notice how this is Bia's mellow flower. So this is gonna continue to be Bia's mellow flower until long after Bia has passed away. Get a farm miracle. Tiso blessed the lands and Moment the Dark's hero's name. When the harvest came, the yields were ripe and delicious, a true godsend. Believe and I will provide. Now a lot of these are going to become very repetitive over time, but I do appreciate the fact that it uses like dynamic text to make them a little bit more spicy. And then we get the stat upgrades here. And they learned Entangle instead of one of the others. And these are, you know, random, so whatever. You can't really choose those. So we got another one here, and we still have 6 rounds left to beat this side boss, which 2 harbingers and none are classless. Should be fine. But what I want to say is that the young ones, while they're considered young, they progress stat-wise much faster than when you're a prime disciple. And some of the bonuses, like the permanent stat bonuses and increases that you get, only affect disciples from when they're new, from that point on. So if you got a disciple before you got those permanent upgrades, they don't apply. So that's why you kind of want to switch people out when it's time. Anyway, Isma needs a class. So a songsmith, a weaver, or a druid. I guess we'll just do a weaver. Because then Isma can eventually replace Nekka. And what was that again? That was charisma and knowledge. So most of these attacks are probably... Oh, they're actually charisma based. Okay. So I actually want to get charisma as the main first thing there. Oh yeah, and we also got an ability to choose. Mind Stare. Dazes the mind of the opponent for the whole sacrament. Okay. That sounds cool. Scold. Nightmare. So this is also a morale ability. Increased chance and crit chance. Okay, so just increased crit chance. And then... yeah, so that's just like an attack. It's not an AoE though. This Mind Stare sounds pretty powerful though. This just has a high hit chance, not crit, but hit. But yeah, if this completely puts them out of commission, that would be kind of awesome. If it just like reduces their ability to counter attack or whatever, that's also fine. Sounds pretty good. Improve. Oh yeah, I forget. Oh well. Be as inspired to found a tradition of doom prophecy. Moment the Dark Hero will surely be pleased by this. Adopt more tenets. So that's like something that happens ongoing, right? So I think it was... yeah, it's not in here, it's in here. So it unlocks this tradition due to us, you know, having the tenet of a evil god. So, but we need to look at buildings. Let's get 2 buildings down already. And from my experience, it doesn't really matter much where you put the buildings down. You have more than enough space to fill up the entire place. The chats erects the gardens with your divine inspiration. Way! Woohoo! And we'll also build a night shrine. Let's just build that. Or next to it. Nope. Oh yeah, this is like this open ground here. And these buildings have upgrades. So I probably want to use a dream point. Oof. No, not noodle stands, god damn it. Or noodle stands. I'll give you freaking noodle stands, you noodle. Have to assign this relic though. Go to a big boy. Noodle stand. God damn it. It's because I was playing Immortal Maya, or whatever the heck it's called, a couple days ago. And ever since, my friend here has just kept coming into my stream saying, oh, you need some more noodle stands. Freaking goddamn it. But yeah, we have some more options now. So we can also permanently increase their faith, which is not really something we have to worry about at the moment, but we can also replenish fervor. Now, this took me an eternity to figure out where the fuck the fervor was located at, but it's that bar underneath your disciple. So when that goes too far down, they start getting like stat diminishing debuffs. Oh, hey, Papa Raves. Lurking today would be more active, but the home front requires you to be there. Have a great stream. Hope you have time to chat. Hope so too. Otherwise, thanks for the lurk. But yeah, we'll just continue on improving our disciples with these blessings. But we can technically be a bit cheeky here and use some offerings to speed up one along. And the good thing is it shows you how much progress it's gonna make right before you choose to. It's really hard to make out, but it's this light blue bar. So if we use that on Bia, they gain like a huge bonus towards progressing to the next. You could also use it to like instantly level it up if it's barely missing, but that would be a bit of a waste. And the reason why I used it is because there's a cooldown on them, so 2-day cooldown on that one specifically. But yeah, let's go for the mission. So, nothing in... doesn't seem particularly difficult, this one. Let's do like this though. However, we do only... yeah, I don't know. Let's try and increase the martyrdom, just to see, because that would gain us an additional chest. We'll also get a disciple slot if we win this. Maybe make it harder, yeah. Given how we seem to always win on disciples. Evade. Reduction. Bleed, highest bleed. Let them defy that attack. So yeah, we don't really do a lot of damage to their hit points, but we gain a lot of followers very quickly. And if we were to actually knock one of these unconscious, it would also reduce the amount of followers they have by quite a lot. But that's not the combat style for Madness, it seems. So we're focusing on getting followers, and debuffing the enemy to not hit us with their attacks seems to be the idea. So we made that no sweat easy. We got 240 chance and a bunch of extra materials, so we get another 25 materials and offerings as a result, and some new unlocks, because we are still on Tutorial Island basically. So we had a minor farm miracle. Isma blessed the lands in Moment Dark Hero's name. However, half the harvest was lost due to a short drought. Some chats were disappointed, even with the knowledge that without Moment the Dark Hero's blessing, the harvest would have been lost entirely. Isma did what he could. This subtracts 25 offerings, but adds the farm miracle to, that perform miracles. So they still get, stat developments, but unfortunately, we did lose a bit of resources, but that's fine. It's not really like offerings is that like losing a few offerings is that detrimental. Now, so we have some more options now, because we've gotten far enough on this island to unlock the repeatable missions. Now, the repeatable missions are a bit peculiar. So the way the game works is whenever you lose a fight, your happiness declines. However, whenever you do a repeatable quest, you automatically get 2 negative happiness regardless of whether or not you win. And the less happiness you have, it affects how I believe events are generated. So yeah, good consequences will happen often on excited, and bad consequences will happen rarely. Whereas if we are on skeptic, you know, it's not as great. And it does get pretty bad. If it reaches 0 from losing a sacrament, it's also game over. So you don't want this to get too low, basically. But we have the option of getting a permanent HP upgrade, which is not really a choice, is it? It's just kind of what we do. And we've got another space for Disciple now, which, you know, let's go ahead and pick one. And we don't get like that great ones. They can get 3 miracles each. I believe quality here is of higher rarity, because the color, like gray is the lowest, and then green, and then it gets better and better. But I don't know how much it matters at this stage. Well, we could get a Beast Walker out of quality here, since they're strong into that direction. So let's try and do that. Yeah, and then new acolytes gain +2 on all stats. So we initiate Disciple. As a result, we'll train Cunning to begin with. Let's look at buildings as well. Don't really need that strong fervor thing. Study unlocks experience, got actions, gives a bit of XP. We could also build our first shrine or temple. Let's get the XP thing first. The chats erected a study with your divine inspiration. What a study. Just a training facility. I think on the in the war thing, it's like a training camp or something. Like they actively just train. Anyways, so B is probably the closest one. Oh yeah, now we also get this blessing option of improving XP for our people. We're actually so well established already, I feel that we should focus on our young ones to get their stats up, because they progress faster. Isma is inspired to found a tradition of grand aberration. Moment the Dark Hero will surely be pleased by this. Acknowledge. So yeah, your people will just like come up with the wildest ideas, and you just kind of say like, yes, that's totally what we're doing. To some extent. Can we get a new tradition? The game will inform us when we can, so there's not really much reason to worry about those kind of things too much. Something I have noticed though is that we can't upgrade our defensive stats whatsoever, because we can't upgrade neither health nor devotion. So we can basically just upgrade our evade and dodge chance, like defy chance. That's like, you know, evade and defy is basically the same thing. So we can try avoid entirely getting damaged, but we can't reduce the amount of damage we take. Ooh, that's actually kind of scary. Okay then. Well, that makes sense why knowledge is a high stat, but we need some... Does NECA actually... What do the abilities use? Oh, okay, so NECA actually gains bonus from might as well to deal damage to seemingly a lot of these. But you can gain damage or bonus, yeah, morale damage through knowledge as well, which is kind of interesting because, as we know, knowledge is a defensive stat. Huh. So that's pretty peculiar. So that's a defensive stat that improves your combat, not really combat, your sacrament prowess, as it's called. And what was it for the druid again? Devotion, knowledge. Okay. And we can't get devotion, so kind of just stuck to upgrading True Occult. We don't want to upgrade Isma's bonus here. Oh yeah. Let's provide additional XP to one of our followers, disciples. And I've noticed that although you can upgrade the XP of your disciples, it doesn't ever seem to really be worth it because it's so little. They get way more out of the sacraments and they benefit more power-wise to just like continuously upgrade their stats. Is there even any of these that don't use knowledge? Okay, Isma does use charisma. Have pretty high though. Charisma, that is. Oh yeah, let's actually get a dream point, because that'll allow us to do something on the third day on the night shrine. Won't really be able to use it for the next fight, but I think should either get Sweet Dreams or Exciting Dreams. I think we'll go for Sweet Dreams first. What that basically does is that it unlocks more options to apply the dream points for in the future. But as you saw, they cost dream points too, so it's kind of like a bit of a situation. You were a bit of a weird one, right? Because it's charisma and cunning. Mostly just charisma. Makes sense. I mean, they're using a fucking instrument as their main device. So it's just a bunch of fucking glass cannons. By the sounds of it, right? Okay. So I don't think we have anyone that... Yeah, we only have someone that gets negative debuffs from the ancestral thingy. Also, we can apply martyrdom twice, but that's maybe a bit too much for us to handle at the moment. We do have stream raiders though, so let's go over there and take a look. Guys, placed 13 units. And it's not really much. It's the first map, so let's just put on some haste and get on to the next. Speedy boots. As expected, not too difficult. Let's open up the chest, and that's rewarded again. Free warrior scrolls to you, Muhu. Easy win. Let's go for this one. Okay. Let me put down a healer. I think I need to get some more healer scrolls. I never get them if I don't ever use my healer or buy them in the store, so... Anyway, we're back to Godhood. And the Chads. And Taco Tuesdays. So, we needed to swap those two around. Because the thing is, if one... As long as they're like... They've got an opposing enemy, they will not... try and attack any of the ones on the side. But if Nekka falls, for instance, then their middle unit will, you know, randomly choose either Bia or Tisser. So sometimes they also have AoE abilities, of course, but I digress. I will be safe with Taco Tuesdays. What a comment. I think it's a good thing that I didn't put Martyrdom up to 2. They're actually giving us a bit of a fight. Oof. This might be a close one. Nah, that fucking buff or whatever. Did they actually? No, they didn't knock them down. That just gave us a ton of followers. Awesome. And we gain 192 chads. Bunch of rewards, and most importantly, the permanent HP upgrade. I don't actually know how important it is now that I think about it, considering we can only dodge attacks, not reduce damage. So, still got 4 days left on that one though. Boopy doop. I think we want to do some repeatable missions for a little bit before heading on. Since light beats darkness, and there's 2 of them here, even though they're supports. I think they'll probably follow us faster than us. So on the repeatable quest, you can either choose one that gives you materials from tribute chests or offerings, and I think we should focus on materials because those are used for building things. And you can also do martyrdom on those. So I know we have a log in the bottom left hand side here that you can't see, but I think that's fine. It's just a reiteration of what I'm already doing, so you don't really need to worry about that, I would say. It's more important that you can see the rest of the screen. Anyways, so we can adopt religion, another tenant. So, what do we want? I was kind of thinking it could be funny to worship cats. Not sure why. Oh, also, notice how these things have different colors. From what I've sort of surmised from my other playthrough is that they are related to the different stats. Or some like elemental affinity or something like that. There seems to be like a theme. So like all the red ones that I saw in my old playthrough were all like war related. Blood offer seems like cool. Well, the way it works is that once we choose a tenant, we get to choose a tradition. So the traditions don't have to be chosen from the tenants. The tenants just unlock traditions that we can do. A secret society also sounded kind of cool, but it's like we should, I don't know. Philosophy is pretty useful, but faith is also in the long term pretty good. So just because we choose worship cats doesn't mean like it unlocks other things that we like, other traditions. Like each of these unlocks 2 new traditions, like Evil God unlocked Grand Aberration and Doom Prophecy. Blood Offering. Well, that's 2 against 1, I guess. I want to worship cats at some point. My pain is glorious in the eyes of Mo in the Dark hero. Okay. Blood for the Blood God. Be a prophetess, the merits of blood offered to the chants. Awesomeness. So, that allows us to choose a tradition, which we can only choose between 2 at the moment. But if we wait a little while, we can get to choose between. Actually, one of them, we've already unlocked Grand Aberration, which is apparently also unlocked with Blood Offer. So there's like some overlap, it seems. Masochist. Faith, I don't know. Doom Prophecy. So these are a little bit more influential. So adopting Doom Prophecy will gain the God action Doom Prophecy, where we choose a disciple to receive Doom Prophecy for 1 mission. And then they gain, if they're participating, then we gain X times offerings from tribute tests, where the X multiplier, or addition, is 100% of their knowledge stats. So if they have 37 knowledge, you'll get 37 additional offerings from each tribute test. However, they will be mad for 1 mission and develop charisma and knowledge at half speed. Oof, that's a pretty big trade-off that I'm not so sure on. I mean, offerings aren't, I don't think that's worth it. What's the other one? Grand Aberration. So we'll get the God action, choose Grand Summoner. We choose a disciple to become the Grand Summoner. They gain an ability to learn monstrous summoning, a nature physical ability that scales on might and hits, ooh, that sounds awesome, hits all opponents and has a chance to stun, holy shit. And we also get the great summoning done by the grand summoner who gains, if they're participating, plus what? Plus 1, 2, is it that divided? Oh, okay, 1, 2, or 4 tribute test extra if you have 1, 3, 6 dark or nature disciples. Oh dude, that's fucking insane. So if we basically have a I don't think having only dark and nature would be a good idea, but if the majority of our disciples are going to be dark in nature, we'll get like extra chests if we trigger this. And there's no downside to this, so I'll choose Grand Aberration for sure. That's not even a discussion. One will become the vessel of Moment the Dark Hero's power. Moment the Dark Hero has communicated with the people. Grand Aberration is now officially a tradition of Taco Tuesdays. So what's the, why Taco Tuesday? I guess this is just Dorito shape, you know, but I guess tacos will do as well. You can put Doritos in tacos, right? If I remember what a taco is. Taco Bell. No. Oh yeah, those are tacos. Never mind. Yeah, I don't know. I don't exactly see the relation, but okay, whatever. So now we have this choose Grand Summoner thing, which NECA is going to be a Grand Summoner. With the War one, there was a similar tradition where you could get like, oh god, this is fucking awesome. Where you could, but War had like one where you could also choose like a champion, I think it was, and then they just gained like insane stat bonuses. Power from the deep flows through NECA. The Chads recognize Moment the Dark Hero's gift and fall on their knees in awe. Sweet. Then we also get this, the Grand Summoning. So, as long as NECA would be participating in the next, like the Grand Summoner would be participating in the next sacrament, you would get that bonus, so to speak. For now, though, I want to get some dream points. Get those. Oh shit, I should have looked at our structures first. This mess inspired to found a tradition of human sacrifice. Moment the Dark Hero will surely be pleased. So that's the thing I was mentioning. If we'd waited another turn, we'd basically been able to choose human sacrifice, but beating the other one might, I don't know. Here we would choose a disciple to become the Master of Sacrifice, which gains demand sacrifice a strong ancestral morale ability that scales on might and lowers physical. Okay, so that's like for sacraments. Interesting. And it's kind of cool because it would allow you to give your darkness affinitied disciples an ancestral affinitied attack, which is very unique. But then you also gain the god action human sacrifice, where if done by the master's sacrifice, if they are participating, then you would also get chests similar to the one that we just got, but it would just be in relation to ancestral or divine disciples. We're not really gonna get that many of those, I don't think, because of the classes that are like lining out, so not really that big of a deal. Anyways, buildings. So let's get exciting dreams unlocked straight away before I forget. And then we need to make a temple. And we definitely need to build a temple of knowledge here. So that's gonna basically boost the stats development, you know, by 50% or however you want to look at it. Now you'll see the next one is unlocked once we get 800 followers. And it's also going to be pretty expensive if I recall. Do I really need this? No, I do not. We kind of just want to wait. Next time we should get the material gatherer so that we can start getting those. Oh yeah, also, we can customize our rituals because we got the temple. I forgot about this. So the way this works is that every time you either build or upgrade a temple, you can upgrade your rituals, which you're not going to get more than these 4 rituals, but it's a way where if we say add might to occult, then whenever someone trains occult as the primary thing, they will also get the chosen stat. Alright? Which basically means that if we want to be able to gain devotion, for instance, as a secondary defensive stat, we could totally do that this way. So every time you would train occult, you would also gain devotion, for instance. That being said, though, I think for occult, which is the one we should focus on, we want charisma, because occult is a defensive stat, and charisma is like a stat that affects how much morale damage you do, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah. So your morale attacks gain more accuracy and power, which basically means that wherever you have an ability that says in the top left, you know, see there's that swirly green arrow, that's because it's a morale ability, whereas this one has this like explosive effect or whatever, making it a physical ability. So all the morale based attacks get bonuses from charisma and the others from strength. And I believe the majority of our people have morale based attacks, and it tends to scale with like charisma and the knowledge stat as well. So having charisma would probably be the thing that we should go for. So let's do that. So we'll choose charisma for this one, and it immediately jumps to the next one, which is why you need to be a little bit careful when you choose this. Anyway, so we're expanding our ritual for occult, and our disciples have ideas on how to worship us best, so they want to add an action to the occult ritual. Whom do you bless? So we have 3 of our followers, 3 of our disciples here. So Quali wants to collect music, Bia wants to dance with music, and Neka wants to care for music. This is just flair. Yeah, dance with music sounds like a fun time. So now this ritual is you're doing the occult and dancing with music. And it'll permanently be here. Like, you can't change this. It will always be reminded that this was Bia's idea, by the way. So basically now whenever you're training occult, you also gain some charisma, which is pretty damn cool. Now I think Neka is so close to leveling up. Actually, no. Let's not do that yet. Let's focus on training our new people instead. Although, actually, let's replenish 1 fervor, even though they have quite a huge pool of fervor they can sort of build up. We need to be a bit careful. Ooh, we had an event happen here. Let's see what happened. Isma gives the right evil example. Mock kittens, kick puppies, praise Moomin the dark hero. So they're permanently gonna get +2 might and 1 health as a result of this. They're basically acting out, you know, your religion. Mock kittens. What happens if... I wonder if that would have changed if you'd gotten the fucking adore cats, worship cats thing. Because that scene would have been a little bit contradicting. Which is part of what interests me so much about this game, is that there's a lot of storytelling potential here, and it's so easy to see the story unfold that, you know, it is very little effort to pick up on the story and carry along with it, because it's all like lighthearted. Now we'll see here Bia here is fatigued because they are low on fervor, so at our earliest convenience, whenever the game allows us to, which right now we can bless her, we can replenish her fervor so that they don't get those significant stat debuffs. And we can prepare for the mission, but let's do this. It's time. NECA power is surging. It is time to spread the horror. So, let's prepare for the mission now. Obviously, we need NECA to participate. This mission should be easy as, well, shit. So, I'm not too worried about trying to go for 2 martyrdom because, yeah, hopefully it'll be fine. So, because the enemies don't have any classes, they're classless, right? So, all they have are their stats and basic attacks. Whereas ours is a bit more advanced, so. Awesome. And NECA has also like been buffed. Oh my god, we've even broken one of them. So here you see like the bar went down to 21. We've already won. Fear us. Indoctrinated. Awesome. Yeah, 1 turn, exactly. So, the repeatables aren't supposed to be hard, you know, it's supposed to be a way for you to gain strength before you continue on with others. Main thing is that it always costs you happiness as a, you know, compensation. Tiso is now in their prime. Has left his younger years behind. Now's the time to use the experience and proselytize. How you pronounce that? So basically, you know, they're an adult now, so they don't get that initial growth spurt that you do while you're a young one. We've got some shit going on over here that we'll check out in a moment. But I want to do another repeatable. Then we'll see, they built something for us. What's this? The Chads have built a cultist hideout to support Grand Aberration. Joyous. The Grand Aberration being that special thing that we've got going for NECA there. That's kind of cool. I don't know if these extra buildings do anything, but I noticed that on my war run as well, that your followers will just build random shit whenever they have the opportunity to. Let's get a material gathering site though. Whoa. I don't think we can build anything else. We can build an upgrade to the gardens, but that's just a strong fervor. Fervor is regenerated in between fights, like in between each sacrament if they're not participating, so, you know, you don't have to necessarily worry about low fervor. It just means that if they've not used any, they're not recharging any either, so it's just a battery. Anyways, NECA, you have your first miracle. So we've actually had miracles on some of the other characters. Oh yeah, okay, right. Because they are our prophet, they gain like this initial growth spurt as a unique thing. Since they initialized the whole religion basically. That's why we haven't gotten one yet. So we'll improve your knowledge. And we should probably focus again on getting these dream points back. Remember, this does mean that NECA is out for the count for the next fight though, so they'll just be on the bench. We can improve the XP gain of one of our followers as well. Or we could improve, yeah, we'll do XP gain. Because the thing about gaining levels is that it improves, actually let's do it for Bia, because then she might also level up on the next fight. Sacrament. And let's boost the ritual progress for Quali here. So we can get their class assigned as soon as possible. And we have 2 dream points because we got those upgrades. It's all good. Let's just do some ritual stuff. I'm a little bit worried though because they both have fatigue, and chances are we won't be able to, yeah, we won't necessarily be able to be lucky enough to get them like sort of recuperated in time. Ooh, Quali has some really weird stats, like major health and cunning, but we can't upgrade health. Yeah, so cunning is for that other... yeah. And then devotion again, another stat they can't level up, so... Ooh, yeah, and you're going to be that beast thingy-majiggy. It's a bit of a weird one. Oh yeah, we need to get here fervor. So that they're back in action. And then Bia just will have reduced stats. Well, then the question is... because we can maybe compensate, because we've got some more dream options, like a lot more now. So we're getting increased stuff like morale damage and sacraments and initiative, a bunch of stuff, really. And we have 2 dream points to assign, which you can assign the same for multiples. We can just not use Bia, but well, actually, yeah, Quali is higher power level, so it might make sense. They don't have any class though, so they don't necessarily do much of an impact. But Isma here. It's not physical, it's morale damage. Right. Let's actually just double check that these are damage. Heal is HP damage. I think this is just morale damage, all of it. So you'll get a morale damage bonus of 25%, and Tico, you've got a bit of a mix, but I think the chant is also just morale power. So does this attack the enemy though? Make enemies mad for 2 rounds, increasing the chance to intercept badly. So it's a debuff. But it does also do damage, you know. So let's try and do this. Okay. Let's try like this. We can also just do a martyrdom of 1. Doesn't have to be 2. Because I'm a little bit skeptical, because they have pretty high morale on some of these, which could be problematic. So we'll give it a go, since it's a lineup of like a team comp that I haven't really tried before, so I want to go overboard while I don't know how things work, since, you know, it's a one-way track. Target 2 stage looks impressive. Oh, that's funny. Repent. Well, it's going pretty equally. You may block, but like intercept, but holy shit, that just... some of those attacks just produce a lot of followers in one go. It's pretty nuts. Then again, we are early game, so it's like supposed to be easy. After all, if we don't make it in time, we'll just lose the game entirely. So it's pretty important. Wondrous meditation miracle. Snega was meditating on moment the dark hero's will. A moment of ecstatic revelation struck. The grandness of moment the dark hero's insight almost drove Nekka insane. When Nekka's used their new insight to predict the death of a Chads. Okay. Everyone was completely in awe. Be driven insane by the truth of my insight. So what does this give us? Offerings and... yeah, so the more knowledge we have on Nekka, the more offerings we got out of this. So a cool part of the game, because it means as we progress forward and these miracles reoccur, they will give you more. Also adds maddening revelation to the disciples perform miracles, of course. But yeah, it scales as we progress forward. So knowledge, development, power, and such. And their corruption ability was leveled up. So instead of learning a new skill, they actually got corruption up to level 2. I think, no. Or they just swap that one out. I don't know. Hard to say. But we do get to teach them a passive, which is also kind of cool. So you can either just give them straight up stat upgrades, which I don't think is ever worth it. At least it wasn't for the war-related religion. But anyway, so perfect fodder. In Sacrament, all allies gain cannot receive the broken faith status. Do not lose converts when broken. Okay, so that basically means that if this person is in a group and you get completely knocked out, you don't lose any of the conversions that you've made like you normally would. This is also kind of cool. Gain 1 knowledge for each 5 might in your team before the start of the sacrament. So this is a force multiplier. Now, important to remember that Nekka also gains bonuses from might directly, since Nekka has an ability that scales with might. But I don't know, because this one, perfect fodder, would assume that you make your team expendable, but why would you ever design your composition towards that? Could be a trait of the playstyle, but I think I'll go for corrupt power for now, because any kind of improvement is a good improvement. I think it'll scale better than the flat bonus that you get, since it scales. So anyways, now our happiness or whatever has gone down to impatient. We have 2 rounds left on this side boss, so let's go ahead and queue this one up now that Nekka is also back in action. Tiso can perform a miracle, though. That's actually fine, because Bia is life, which is superior to darkness, and darkness is superior to nature anyway, so Tisa shouldn't be part of this next fight, regardless of whatever happens. And I think it's just knowledge, isn't it? Yeah. Seems to... oh, you already have knowledge improved. Okay. Was it charisma or cunning then? Okay, so devotion. Stat that normally we can't even train devotion, so it's not a... yeah, it requires a ritual that improves it. Well, we can still improve their charisma though, so that it means that whatever abilities they use is still more efficient. Let's look at what we can build. We can get an offering stockpile, but let's do mining so that we gain more material gain. What is Tiso? Tiso is our druid. Knowledge is important. So they do like they're like a support class, so they can do like entangle, which is physically based, but they can also chant, which makes the enemies mad. Devotion and knowledge. Yeah, but we can't train devotion, as I was saying. So it doesn't really matter whatever that wiki says. If you can't train devotion, you can't use that for jack shit. Just think about that. So anyways, so we're also over on Stream Raiders. And do we want to... let's try this one. Killing Field. If you want a guide for it. I don't really want a guide for it. I think the game does a pretty good job at explaining all the things. You just have to keep track of what is what and sort of educate yourself. Okay, maybe we should have had a damage reduction thing here. Ouch, that was a lot of allies lost. How many do we have? 19. Okay, so it was 5 lost, but these guys are fucking tanky for level 1s. What the fuck? Okay, level 10s, some of them. But yeah, do bear in mind, Ham, that I've already played through like pretty far into the war-based religion, so it's just a matter of figuring out what stats the classes need and then keeping track of what the different characters have and such, which is a bit more difficult, of course, when you're streaming because your focus is sort of divided in between different places on occasions. But anyways, Grim, you get some coins, and Moo, you get some rogue scrolls. Scrolling. Do we want to take the short route, or do we want to take the one with the most gold chests? We can take the one with the most gold chests. It's just going to be more hard. But I trust you guys. I trust that we can do this. We might not be able to do this because there's, holy shit, that's a lot of guys. Okay, well, Orc Slayer should be beneficial, but I don't know. That's a lot of enemies. Anyways, let's try and keep it all simple here. We'll check back on that and see if we can survive. Anyways, so we're back here, and we did get all the buildings. Yes. Classes, no. Rituals are fine. Everything's fine. So let's just focus on the next generation here. Get some XP in on these people that are not really like, it's fine for these guys to be spending time like performing miracles and stuff, because they won't be part of combat anyways. And here we get the opportunity to get our first beast walker. We'll confirm this class, and they will want cunning as the main stat. And if I remember correctly, invisible prowl was the good one to have, or was it critical? It's like, as I said, this is basically a rogue, so yeah, it's either improving your hit chance or your crit chance, or physical ability that raises evasion of all your allies in the Sacrament, which is something we probably want because evasion is kind of how our team survives in the first place. Whether it be like one type of evasion or the other. Okay, well, if we get the chance, Tiso probably needs to get some fervor reclaimed. And sometimes I'll choose XP over finishing the ritual because it's more beneficial. Alright, Andre. Gotta rest your back. Occult and dance. It's the new movement. Very popular with the young ones. Okay. Oh yeah, and this was the boss fight, wasn't it? So let's do morale damage for you. Oh, so you can't do... Oh no, this is on cooldown still, or... I think this is on cooldown. Adds a 4 mission cooldown for the Great Summoning, so it's I mean, understandably so, it's pretty fucking strong, so... Pick me. Pick me. And you're strong against that element. They actually have negative morale armor of all things. So this should be fine. Actually, yeah, let's do like a martyrdom one, because I believe these guys attack hit points anyway, and I tend to be more worried about the followers that they start with rather than how much damage we've taken necessarily. That could be hubris, I don't know. Oh god. Instant win. Whoa, never mind. That wasn't even a turn. That was one attack. What the fuck was that? Okay, NECA OP. Holy shit, I guess they are our prophet, so shouldn't be too surprising, but damn. I get that extra chest. It's not big difference in the grand scheme of things, but Taco Tuesdays, say. As Tizo was meditating on more in the Dark Hero's will, a moment of revelation struck. The moment the Dark Hero taught them the truth of the world. As Tizo marveled at this revelation, they felt truly touched by Momen, the Dark Hero. In meditation, I will reveal the truth. This is another one of those. So they're charisma, as we wanted to, but then they get wisdom. Okay, that's cool, because that's one of the abilities that I wanted on them. We got some passive choices here. And you'll notice that the third choice is always like +5 on the main primary and secondary stat, basically. But anyways, the 4 truths, allied morale abilities gain extra knowledge scaling. Same effect as in stack. So that means they gain more out of knowledge. That's actually really good. +10 morale armor for all allies. I think this one is better, because if we can just do 1-turn victories, that would be insane. And then we also get quality bless the hunters' weapons. Miraculously, the wild animals all ran to watch the hunters. Again, so this is the beast walker or whatever the fuck they're called. Get critical claw. But most importantly, the stat benefits. Okay, I think we have enough strength to take on the next one here. Yeah, the game says so as well, so we're fine. Bia can perform a miracle. Bia is actually pretty low in power, which is surprising. But I seem to notice that a lot for the light-based ones. Initially, they always seem to have a harder time gaining like higher bonuses. Songsmith. Charisma and cunning, actually. Well then, I guess cunning it is. Ritual progress, do we want to do that? Oh yeah, we need to look at buildings before I do anything else. I'll also start building the stockpile, because the next passive generation for the material gatherer is going to be pretty expensive. Or actually, never mind, let's do another temple. That's even better. Because that scales really well with other things. The main question is what to choose, but I think it's just going to be charisma. I think it's going to be charisma. Yeah, let's do charisma. That seems to be the other one that kind of like is really important. Okay. With that done, that also allows us to customize the ritual. Now, we can't go ahead and straight up upgrade occult again. We have to upgrade one of the others first. So what do we want to do? So if you upgrade charisma, we could do it to say like you also get devotion that way, so that we can start getting some devotion in. Alternatively, I was thinking on taking the stalk ability here and add might onto it. Let's do that actually. So either you do might ritual and you bless the skulls, you collect the skulls, or offer skulls. Any takers on that one? What do we want it to be? It's just flair, but if you guys want to have an influence, let me know, because we have a few options here. I would say because stalk and offer skulls or collect skulls, that could be kind of cool. So we're stalking like something and then collecting skulls as we're doing. So let's do that. So this is gonna give like both cunning and might now, which is perfect for the new class that we just acquired. So, as well as some of the others. I don't think we really need to worry about fervor, but We should probably do that. I also noticed that we can upgrade our fervor on our disciples. Let's do that so that they're more like... we can use them more frequently without having to worry about fervor as much. Awesome sauce. So yeah, if we were to go for stalk and collect skulls, you will gain both free points in cunning and might, which means you'll be doing more damage and you'll have a higher chance of avoiding taking damage. However, occult is where it's at for Nika here. Neka. I don't know. Nika, Neka. It's the difference between having one E or two E's in there, I suppose. Let's grant some XP to a disciple though. And we have so much of these offering resources, we might as well just use some of it. Who do we want to focus on? Because Tiso here is... Yeah, we can't upgrade. Tiso is max level, so there's no way of getting XP. Let's just get that ritual done though, so we can get that power up. Yeah, that's just gonna be occult as well. Occult training. Yeah, so we can't use the great summoning until another mission. That's the difference. So the other two skills, they have days worth of cooldown, where the great summoning has like 4 entire missions. So it's a pretty stark difference, I would say. Let's get some progress on that ritual there. Oh, we have an event happening. What's going on here? A magnificent blood offer is brought to you. They shall be rewarded. Awesome. So we get a tribute chest in the extra in the next sacrament because of this. Cool. We have so many options here. Oh no, not options. Derp. This is like preparation for the fight, isn't it? So, since morale damage worked so well for Neka, let's just redo that success, shall we? Obviously not against that enemy. Want to do like this, so we don't have to deal with any like detrimental effects. And they're both the same class, but I think we can easily do like at least one martyrdom. Remember, whenever we fail one of these, we don't get any rewards and we get less of that happiness or whatever. So until we're like, you know, push 100% sure, like redoing, like doing repetitives, for instance, I don't want to risk anything unnecessarily. It does seem like really well though. Like they hardly took any fist damage on their team, but we just converted that group instantaneously, basically. So that's kind of awesome. And we gained 304 chads, as well as some sweet tribute chests. Get a farm miracle. Believe and I will provide. Which they learned classic song. Very strong AoE ability. Okay. But lowers physical armor for 2 rounds on this disciple. Actually, AoE abilities tend to be really fucking strong. Oh yeah, charisma bonus is major on that one if we look at it. It says plus 20. Holy shit. Allied abilities gain plus cunning scaling for damage. Huh. That's interesting. So any cunning that any of the allied abilities would have would... So if they had any like surplus cunning that does the dodging of physical attacks, they would actually get like a bonus to their attacks as well. Removes hit chance penalty for target all abilities. Okay. Target all abilities normally have 30% chance hit chance penalty. Okay, so that's just AoE abilities. I think having the elegance thing would be more useful, because that's like, so I don't think everyone has an AoE ability, and especially not necessarily, because all the default like baseline abilities are not AoE to my knowledge, since they're kind of strong. Anyway, so before we do the last map on this, before we can move on to the next island, let's get as many bonus rewards as we can without, you know, going too overboard. So start looking at buildings. Oh, we can already build a sunstone. We haven't even acquired that thing yet. What the heck? Interesting. Strong faith, just permanent faith bonus. These cost like 500 materials. Let's get the offerings thingy instead. Let's see, we can't really upgrade anything, but they're not too expensive. But this just gives you like passive generation for offering resources, which can help you get like your disciples trained much faster than you would be able to otherwise. Okay. Well, let's replenish some fervor. Up to the next turn. Get some XP onto Ismahir. And you want to do the stalking thing. Continue doing that. And who do we want to focus on? Bia is lower in power level, so I want to kind of focus down on Bia a little bit. Yeah, it just got a single power more, so doesn't really do much for Bia. Bia, not Bia. Oh, it's not the same, mate. It's not the same. How was we doing here? So it was charisma again. Charisma and cunning for her case. Half demon. So yeah, I guess we just gotta do occult. Because although we can train charisma directly, we actually gain more if we just train knowledge and then just get the charisma through secondary stats. Which is kind of funky. I have the same experience in my war-based thing where strength is the main stat and I focus down on upgrading that first. But for some reason it's more worth it upgrading cunning in that playthrough because it gives more strength than the strength thing itself does. It's kind of weird. Or at least it's like more points overall and hardly any difference like in how much strength you get. Anyways, getting sidetracked here. So let's get you some XP quality. And what do we want to do next? Who do we want to give the bonus to? We can give it to... This is something, actually, do we even want to give it to Neka? Screw it. Let's give some morale damage bonus to Neka. Because that way we can curb stomp these guys without any issue whatsoever. Do we want to focus on Isma, or do we want to give Quali like a head start? Let's give one of our newcomers a bonus. Because that's another thing, like you want to also focus or consider rather your younger people because they're going to be around for longer, so the more training they can get earlier the better, because they have a good chance of being able to like out power, you know, your main people that are in their prime before they're even finished being in their young stage. And we already won in like one turn, so. And that's something you're gonna notice, like the repeatables are very easy usually, and on occasion there's gonna be a lot of quick fights, but then, you know, a bunch of min-max planning and stuff in the settlement portion of the game. Isma is now in their prime as well. How is NECA doing? Oof. We should probably head on to the next map because NECA is going to turn 60 after the next mission. And I don't think that that would be so good to happen before we finish the main quest. It's fine. We're pretty low on happiness, so bad events are going to start happening more frequently anyways. I really want to have a little bit of a buffer in case we do fuck this up, so... Because notice they are pretty high power level, so losing NECA's capabilities earlier on might be a bit shitty. But we have the power of the old gods, or whatever, the great summoning, as it is called. It does also mean though that, you know, NECA is kind of gonna be a goner soon, so there's no point in focusing down on them anymore. Which is fine. That's just how the game functions. And no one has low fervor, so... Nah. We might just end up curb stomping the enemies in the last sacrament on this map. So... I think we're doing pretty good considering this is supposed to be like an advanced thing. But then again... I should probably also remind you that we're playing on medium difficulty. There are 2 difficulties beyond this apart from choosing your playstyle, so... We're not really... Well, I guess it's kind of playstyle, but mostly just combat style, isn't it? So... Anyways. Let's just get through these. Isma or Bia? How old are you, Bia? 52. Okay, so... Bia's not going to be around for long either. Oof, this is a tough one. Because Isma is like ready to perform a miracle, but there's no point in doing that now. Able to build a noodle stand. Not you too, goddammit. This is not the Immortal Emperor or whatever that game was called. Bob Saget. Anyway, let's just fucking beef up NECA's freaking capabilities here. Buff is what I was trying to say, not boof. Let's boof up their capabilities. Anyways, so Divine is weak against nature, so we can actually gain like an upper hand here if we do this. And we can just not put martyrdom on this. There's borderline no reason because we already get a bunch of bonuses which if we failed would go away and then, you know, we wouldn't be able to gain them at all. But you know, you can get a lot of rewards even without. But anyways, so mad disciples will be recruitable as a reward. Interesting. And we'll get another disciple slot, so let's go. Be mellow. What kind of rip those guys? Ooh. Aberrant strike. I yield, immediately knock them out. Fucking broken. But they are. Well, it's also kind of... We're definitely winning this. But yeah, melee physical-based attacks don't generate a lot of followers. Holy shit, that did though. Well, that was easy. Indoctrinated. We win. Walk in, excellent. And we gain a whopping 223 followers, as well as 8 tribute chests providing us these materials and all these unlocks and so forth. Cool. Elders defeated. The sacrament has proved your might over the elders' ancestors. The elders' followers have been converted. Your disciples pray for judgment on these heathen elders. Madness. Subject them to my mad truth. Which is Taco Tuesdays. You turn your eye on the elders. They cry, they yell in terror, they sacrifice to you in madness. The usual convert the world occurs. Standard. So we get our first sunstone. So this is the goal of the game, to acquire all these sunstones. Newly converted elders bring you a puzzling offering. We always honored the ancestors with this sunstone. Now we see we were misguided. Prophecies have foretold that the true God would come and assemble 6 pieces of the sunstone and bring the world to its final fate. We now see Momon, the dark hero, is that true God. Precisely. Other false gods hold claim over the other parts of the sunstone. If they convert to follow Momon, the dark hero, their sunstone would be ours. With this holy decree, your disciples prepare great boats to travel to newfound shores and spread Taco Tuesdays. Each of your disciples have different opinions on where they must travel first. I will show the way. So, this leads us into the next sort of phase of the game, I suppose. We've collected 1 out of 6, which is our main objective. Confirm that. And now, we gotta choose the distant mission. This is gonna be a bit different than what we're used to. So, we have 4 islands we can go to. There are different difficulties and playstyles that we're gonna be faced with. So, if we go to Tenochtitlan, the capital island, we're gonna be faced against a war-based religion. And we're gonna fight ancestral enemies as well as dark laden enemies. Yeah, they're committed to war. Doing so will give us 10 materials gained per mission. We can also choose the Death Island, which is basically the madness religion that we're on. Gonna give us 100 materials. Then we've got pleasure. And then we've got generosity. Development sparks are what develop our religion, so give us more like religious perks in terms of options for like strategic choices. I do think this one, the capital island, would be pretty good for the material gain per mission, as that would surmount to a good amount of materials in the long run, because you would definitely do more than 10, which would be more than those 100s. However, we also got to consider the fact of what we're up against. And Ancestral gets bonus against light, which some of our units are. Light gaining bonus over darkness, but the main like type of units we have are darkness themselves. So the other thing to note is that war focuses on physical attacks, which would require us to have high agility. I don't know about generosity. My suspicion is that they focus more on what Shima calls it, the other types of attacks instead. I think we should go for the 5th Sun Island. I want some more development sparks, because those you can only gain from completing fights basically. So this is a new map, and we already have available to us the repeatable missions, as well as, you know, a first start here and then a optional quest that will receive a relic if we beat it, and another one which will give us development sparks, as well as these increased sort of chest rewards. But I think we should just start with this one. How are we on Stream Raiders though? How much time? Because surely I didn't... Are we already ready on this and I just completely... No, the fight is not ready. I'm just checking up on it. Oh, it's because I was still in the planning heads up. Okay, so it's like in a minute. Okay, I think this is a good time to end the stream as well, since we moved on to the next map. So that we have a nice spot to sort of pick up from, since we get a new disciple and a bunch of choices to do. So if you want to see more, you got to tune in to the next stream. Let's save this one though. Let's call it stream 1. I got Dragons Devoted is the one for the other one. Which I guess I can just quickly load up my main save, which as you can see with 12,000 followers is a bit further in than this one. But just to give you a bit of idea how complex the game gets. I'm just ending the stream, Andre, but we went on to the next map. This is why my war focused playthrough, which I haven't played on in a couple days, but as you can see, the power numbers get pretty high. And like their rituals eventually improve like 3 different stats and all kinds of stuff. And you get way more options. Eventually you can max out the buildings though, but it's pretty cool. I guess I'm basically halfway through on this one. But yeah, I just wanted to sort of show you the other one. You can see that it visually also looks a little bit different, you know? All these buildings are like tribal war related, so to speak. Oh yeah, I guess I can quickly show this before we do the Stream Raiders thing. So we have a champion of Dorgoth. Of course we have adopted war because it's a religion type, and martial arts as well. But on top of that we have all these tenets, like offering food to people, but doing peaceful protests. We are dedicated to nature and animals. We also do holy training in terms of like, you know, training is a holy thing. We have reclusion, so like taking time away from everyone else helps you focus on like your war mentality and fighting spirit and all that. We even have an order of paladins, a code of honor, and a no gain no pain tenet. So just a lot of different stuff. Do you lose? No, I just loaded a different save temporarily to show you what it looks like when you're further in, basically. Because I want to end the stream, so we've got Stream Raiders now, and that's gonna be it for today. Let me just close out of the game, because I want to play a bit of Genshin Impact before I go to bed. So anyways, will we beat these guys? I'm a little bit worried. I don't know why you put your epic unit all in the middle, Grim, but sure enough, I don't know. I don't know if like using Stronghold on this map seems like such a fucking lost cause, because we're just going to be pulled in all kinds of directions because of where the enemies are coming from. And they're fast. Holy shit. You misclicked it. That happens. Okay, I don't think that buff is doing anything for us, but we seem to be doing alright. Even though they're level 10s, they're freaking squishy as hell. Went to epic legendary. I mean, the Orc Slayer is a legendary unit. Or is it because you wanted it to have been a legendary instead of epic? Doesn't matter. Camp, you get some Monk Scrolls. Moo, you get some Berserker Scrolls. And Grim, you get some Flying Rogue Scrolls. Congratulations. And that is, as they say that, I hope that whoever's been watching, you guys as well, of course, or obviously you guys, but everyone else also, has enjoyed the stream today. It's not RimWorld, it's a bit of a different thing, but I hope that Godhood has caught your attention, because I think it's a pretty cool game. It's not that old. It came out in like 2020 into early access, and has had like persistent updates over time, and as a result, the version that we're playing right now is, you know, heavily updated since it came out. But anyways, let's see if there's actually anyone on Twitch that we should raid. If any of you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Oh, I think I know just the person I want to raid. He doesn't have any viewers right now. He's streaming World of Warcraft though. The persistent bastard. Grim, you probably know who I'm talking about. So, hope you would at least join me on the raid and say hi to Cyber Fatty. Some of you. So, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll continue the Godhood thing at another time. Ooh, my dragon said bye. Yeah. Later, Hamp. So, let's go. Oh shit. He's not even started yet.